Michiko Hatchin, episode 21, Last Waltz Blooming Out of Season. This was a pretty interesting episode. It was somewhat somber because of what happened with Satoshi, but at the same time, Satoshi was never really a good guy. He was just a character that was really important to the story, but he was never a good guy, but it was still kind of sad that he died in this episode to me. I was like, it was kind of messed up. He definitely had a great sacrificial moment when he actually jumped in front of the bullet to save Hatchin, which really surprised me, but it showed that he cared. And I was really hoping that he'd somehow get out of that last final little scene, and he was still he was still talking tough, which I thought was pretty funny during the end scene. I was kind of hoping he would have that chance, but unfortunately, he does get killed at the end of this episode, and I don't know if we'll actually see the guys that killed him in the next episode, or if they'll, because I doubt they'll have any real leads, so we probably won't see them in the next one, but we might. This could finally be an episode that really does take place, or the next one could really be an episode that finally takes place, like, right after, the former. So, with the way things ended, and Michiko and Hatchin in this crazy, insane standoff, like, I don't know how this is gonna work, but with them in the middle of this crazy standoff, where obviously the captain, or whatever position the guy is, the guy who's in charge, clearly he puts certain things under the rug. It's like, oh, one of his officers killed someone by accident, which really wasn't on the officer. That was totally on that woman, just freaking out the whole time. Like, zero words for her. All screams. Like, the other two people had no dialogue whatsoever. They had, like, their whimpers and stuff when she was dead. All she had was just screaming loudly, and that was it. And I'm like, that was totally on her. But of course, it gets put, on Hatchin, or it gets put on Michiko, and it kind of sucks that she left her gun, because that just kind of helped her case. And then of course the guy slides the gun to her, and it's like, there you go. This is your chance to, have the shootout, which I thought was interesting. There were no words or anything. He slid the gun over. It was nothing like, oh crap, she has a kid with her. None of this. It was just like, here's a gun. Fight back so we can just shoot you both up, apparently. So, I don't know how in the world they're going to get out of this. Of course, once again, Hiroshi's off, he's gone in the wind, he's on a train, so now he's somewhere else. Hatchin finally had her chance, she finally caught up to him, and then poof, he vanishes around the corner. And so he's on the train going to the capital, he said, but I was kind of thinking maybe he was lying just to do that, but he's going to the capital. So I don't know. I don't know how they're going to get a lead as to how, where he went. I'm assuming that what they're going to do is they're going to go to the train station, so however they get out of the crazy, scenario at the ending, but they're going to get out of the train station, or get to the train station, and the guy that was looking at Hiroshi, he'd be like, oh, he said he was going to the capital, because they had the scene where the guy, like, looks over after he walks away, and it's like he was looking at him, and it's like, oh, it's the blonde guy who, that the smoke and stuff coming up. It's like, oh yeah, that guy was going to the capital. So I'm assuming he's going to be their lead, but there's still the huge question of how they're going to get out of this insane standoff, and there's nothing either of them can really say. I mean, Hatchin might have some stuff she could say, but I don't think it would be enough for them to not try to shoot up Michiko. She was already a criminal to begin with, so there was never like, oh, she didn't kill people, she's not a bad person. Considering she escaped from jail, that was it. The whole series was her running from jail. In the first episode, she does shoot up that bank, so there's that as well, and then all the other madness with the cops. But now that they've kind of planted this, murder on her, there's just a lot extra going on there, so they're getting, full on cover up. Most officers don't even know it's a cover up. They just assume that it actually happened. And now they're in this weird standoff that I have to assume they'll get out of. I don't think that they kill Michiko at the end. That would really suck if they did. And to be totally honest, I kind of thought they might do that this whole episode. I was kind of freaking out. Like, with it being so close to the end, I'm starting to wonder if it's going to be sort of this happy ending type of story where they both finally get to meet Hiroshi after all this time. And it's seeming more and more likely, especially by the time this episode ends, that it might only be Hatchin who gets to find Hiroshi. And I hope that's not the case, but I feel like that's kind of where it's leading to. I just don't know. It would be really sad if that happened. That would suck so bad. But I was really freaked out this whole episode. I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna happen, if she's gonna get shot or this or that. And pretty much for every bullet she dodged, Satoshi got hit. So that's kind of why he ends up dying in this episode. That's kind of how they seem to do it. Like all the time she was meant to get shot, and then finally Satoshi gets hit, by the end of this episode, and that's when, it kind of just, that was like the first domino for him. And then, Michiko, when she was driving on the bike, and Hatchin sees her, and she yells, and she's out in the open, that was the final straw. And, like I said, it's like to see him go, but now I just don't know what to expect for these, for this crazy situation that the characters are in. And maybe the guys that killed Satoshi will be the answer to them getting out, but I really have no idea. But I certainly enjoyed this episode. It was really crazy because I was worried because we're so close. I think we only have 2 more episodes to go. I was so worried, like, maybe things aren't going to be the happy ending that I was thinking, from the very beginning. Which even then I wasn't, but that was because I thought that Hiroshi would actually be dead and they'd find his grave or something. I thought that would be the sort of sad ending. But now I was like, I don't know. I hope it's a happy ending, but I don't know. I just don't know what to think. And they do talk about, after the whole crazy mix-up murder happens, they talk about there's, a special detective being brought in. I can imagine who that would be, but I don't know if they're bringing her back. I mean, after the breakdown that she had, I don't know if we're going to get to see her again, but we probably will, because it's, towards the end of the series, so that may not have been her final episode, but it could have been. I don't know. We'll have to kind of wait and see now. And if it's not her, then maybe it would be the guy that she was working with. So I don't really know. But I'm looking forward to these, I think, last 2. I don't believe the last one, or the next episode is the last episode. I think there are 23 episodes in this show. But we're pretty much there. We don't have 3 episodes. I know that for sure. Well, I could be wrong, because I really don't remember. I'm pretty sure it stops at 23, though. But we're pretty much there. We're pretty much at the end of the series, and I don't know what to expect. I mean, if they find them, it probably wouldn't be until the finale, or maybe it would be in the next episode, and then we get like all the answers and stuff like that in the finale. But I don't really know. Like, it's hard to tell where things are really going, especially with this ending. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little scared now. I'm honestly a little bit worried that it won't be like, oh, Michiko and Hatchin finally make it to their goal, and it might only end up being Hatchin. But I'm looking forward to whatever happens. I didn't realize this the entire series, but I finally saw it in the opening that Shinichiro Watanabe is the guy who was like one of the writer for the show, and he's the guy who did like Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo and Space Dandy. And I had no idea. And once I read that, I was like, now it makes perfect sense why these episodes don't connect with each other sometimes. Most of the time, really. Because that's kind of very similar to what he did with Space Dandy. It's different for, like, Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo aren't like that. They have sort of the, I guess they kind of do. They have a very American style to them. Because most anime is like, it's only the overarching story. Like, for most anime that I watch, that tends to be the case. And it's never like, oh, this happened in this one episode and that's it. And that was just like its story. And typically that happens with filler. But that's about it. Every other episode, there's some flashback to it or something like that. And with his shows, that doesn't seem to be the case. Like, with Space Dandy, it certainly wasn't. And I can't really explain why, because that would spoil a lot of stuff from the show. But with Space Dandy doesn't it with Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo. They do have the overarching story, and they definitely continue Samurai Champloo much more than Cowboy Bebop, because that really was just like, this is what's happening this week in in this episode or that episode. And they were like the couple really big episodes that finally lead to the finale of the show. But it made perfect sense once I saw that. I was like, that explains it. That's why the episodes are kind of just, it's their own thing. Each one, even though you think you should see what happens right after this, is just like, nope, that happened. It happened. It's almost like Space Dandy, but Space Dandy's on a much grander scale, which is much crazier. But check out Space Dandy; it's very awesome. But once I saw that, I was like, it just clicked. It finally clicked. Like, why are these episodes not connected and stuff like that? I was like, yep, that makes sense. That's kind of another reason why I'm worried too. Sometimes his stories don't come out and it's just like perfect, beautiful, happy ending. Like Cowboy Bebop doesn't end that way. Samurai Champloo sort of does, but then it still takes a bit of a weird turn. Like the very end of it, it's not just like, oh, happy camaraderie sort of deal, and it's like, holy crap, that just happened. So that's another reason why I'm a little bit worried. But I always love his shows. They're always some of my favorite Space Dandies, like up there. Like those Space Dandy, Cowboy Bebop, and Samurai Champloo, like definitely in my top anime picks. So makes sense why I love this show so much. But I'm excited for the last couple. Of course, though, I want to know what you guys thought about this one. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and I actually want to know what you guys think about them killing off Satoshi, because, like I said, he was never really a good character. Like, he was never nice, pretty much at all. He fought, with his old, running mate. He fought, I guess, with Hiroshi. I still don't really remember why he was trying to, take out Hiroshi. I guess because he left and, like, faked his death. But he's mad at him. He was kind of a dick to Hatchin, really, even in this episode when she wanted to leave because she found out what was happening with Michiko. After he tripped her, I was like, okay, he tripped her, no big deal. She fell super hard. It was crazy how hard she fell, but I was like, okay, he tripped her. He was like, you're not going anywhere. And then there's this scene where she's just sitting down. It's basically the same scene, and he just kicks her straight in the stomach. I'm like, man. And that wasn't really the first time that he hit her, and it was just like, that's what makes him such a mixed character, because he's really important, but he was kind of like a villain character that wasn't a villain. So it's like he's not 100% a villain, but he's obviously an antagonist. He's antagonistic, and that's what makes me not like him. But then he has the moment like where he saved Hatchin, and it's like, crap. Well, that's what makes you not want him to die, because he does at least have that moment at the very end when it comes down to it. He may have hurt her, but he sacrificed his own life to save her life, because pain is one thing, but ending your life is another. So it was like, and that's kind of what Watanabe kind of does with the show, is just like blended crazy characters. So it's a mixed bag for me. I wanted him to get out of that situation, but at the same time, it's like he's never been a good character, but he was definitely a good character. He was very enjoyable for the show, despite pretty much straight mean. Oddly enjoyable. Don't know why, but definitely liked him. Of course, like I said, I want to know what you guys thought about his death in this episode, and of course, in general, what you thought about this one. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.